Hi guys, so today we're going to talk about opioid use disorder and where did opioid use disorder start? And it's amazing, how over the years there has been opioid dependence, opioid use disorder, opioid addiction, and it seems that the industry really has no clue as to really how to treat opioid use disorder, but it keeps on coming up with different names for your opioid use disorder, and that's really what it seems like. For example, you don't keep changing um, the definition of a certain disease unless you feel that you're really losing up against this disease. And I think that that's basically what takes place is it's just reordering and reordering and reordering the disease. I'm saying we're thinking about it, we're thinking about the problem, we're thinking about the problem, but oftentimes solutions aren't there. But buprenorphine and all these synthetic medications are coming out. But it seems that it's nice to really understand what opioid use disorder is. So one of my favorite movies that has a good clip about opioid use disorder is, of course, Train Spotting. And we're going to just take a clip of Train Spotting and just take a look here. All right, now you got some hallucinations that are going on and withdrawal and whatnot. So where did this start? So basically, as you take a look, opioid use disorder really could have started back as far as the Sumerians, 4000 BC. And in 4000 BC, there was a transfer to India, and then India had, this massive production, East India Company having this, and then there was a thought process of mixing teas and opium and giving this joy-like state. The Sumers had this joy-like state where they would often give it to infants to make them sleep, and it was used in India for medicinal purposes, in China mainly for medicinal purposes, but definitely addictions came thereafter. Now, also, the same stream is when the universe offers, things that oftentimes, kills the body and brings temporary relief to the body and the mind. The universe also sends out different meditations and different ways in order to curb that behavior, in order to understand and realize that you are more powerful beyond this body. And oftentimes I like to refer to this scene that comes up quite a bit from um, Doctor Strange, which is ultimate science here. And you look at Doctor Strange, and he's in this open your mind scene where he's like sitting here, and I oftentimes love you know look. Oh, this is a great scientist. Ah, so although this is superficial, sort of pseudo-scientific type stuff, there are scientific studies that are out there now. It's obviously proven that meditation can certainly help you with addictions, and so these meditations right here, which is right in our logo, and these meditations right here, which is Go Run Go in our on our logo, are really important. And then this book right here can help you to really ascertain everything that you want to have. So download the book. It's like $3, and if you're undergoing any sort of withdrawal or any sort of issues with withdrawal, please just download the book, help yourself out, and get through the steps. And this can certainly take that edge off of your withdrawal. And you may not have to go through such a difficult transition as this, which is quite interesting. You know, it's So basically, what they're saying in train spotting is basically that you've got these receptors, and now these receptors really want all of these stimulations from um, opioid use disorder that takes from the opium, and basically that opium that stimulated and created all these receptors in the brain that are now overactive. Those receptors are craving the fill that it usually gets, and the actual structure of the brain and the structure of the nervous system is changing, and you're saying, look, okay, now you're no longer giving this, so now we're going to have to change, or you're going to have to give us what we want. So it's sort of an internal battle that's pretty extreme. So basically, we have this patient comes in, and now going back to opioid use disorder, we started out with Sumer, we went to India, we're in China, and then it goes to the British. And in the 1600s, we are now with the Mayflower, within the historic voyage when America, quote unquote, was born, or white America was born. Sorry, and that's when. Because of course you have the American Indians who were there before the 1600s, but 1620s, 1607 to 1620s. But this group of people definitely used this joyous like drug, which is the poppy seed, in order to treat ailments such as diarrhea and depression and not feeling well. And it went on and on and on. So getting more scientific as time went on. You have this isolation of morphine, which took place in around 1805, and this was done. And I love this scene. This was by Krishnamurti and Dr. Rao, who wrote this about basically through diligent research. Saturner was the first successful to isolate the extract morphine crystals from the poppy seed juice, and this was in 1805. And soon after qualifying, this apothecary assistant, so Turner moved to Einbeck in 1806, where he was employed as the assistant to the magistrate's pharmacy. Following Napoleon Bonaparte's invasion to Europe, French legislation prevailed, permitting Saturner to open shop in Westphalia. So he was searching for a safe dose for himself, and sort of a pioneer. And this is just great. So I'm just reading it directly from the paper. This is found on PubMed. It is a free download from PubMed that you can actually go with the Indian Journal of Anesthesia. And when his discovery remained unrecognized, Turner continued with his experiments and described as crystallizable properties of a new substance, Principum somniferum. And that was a weak base, soluble in acidic solutions. Since the discovery occurred almost 50 years before the invention of the hypodermic syringe, the drug had to be basically administered orally. And so by trial and error through self-administration dosing in 3 young volunteers, he noticed that 1/4 grain or 30 milligrams of the drug induced happy, lightheaded sensation. And the second dose caused drowsiness and excessive fatigue. And the third dose caused participants to become confused and somnolent. He suggests that 15 milligrams of the drug was optimal dose, named substance morphium after the Greek god of sleep and dreams. So how interesting is this? Is that on one end you have KneeTie Go Run Go, which is in 1500 has come here to Earth, and basically to be able to give awareness to the internal power and the internal potency of meditation and not even focus meditation, but just meditation that ultimately turns into focus. And that running along with the lines of the 1600s, in the 1600 where they're going in parallel, sort of this parallel sort of thought process and track. And here's where they sort of meet with scientists now, such as myself, who are studying this. I'm basically saying that, okay, you've got these parallel tracks that are going up, and there's a meeting of this, of external external stimulants versus an internal stimulant. And that internal stimulant is basically the soul being able to be stimulated and to be able to take control. And the external stimulant is, of course, morphine and all of this. So, and this is where actually, when you have a period of 500 years where there's basically a failure by scientists to be able to actually basically be able to attack this problem in a way where 70,000 people in the US won't die per year. This is really interesting, because the thing is that any any epidemic where 70,000 people are dying per year is so important to be able to take a look at, and we have to be able to find a way in order to stop this. It is absolutely necessary. And seeing all those parents that are dying every day inside when they see their children that are having these problems is absolutely important. So moving on. So you have the um, let's see. So we've talked about this. We went here. We've talked about that. So let's talk about heroin and the heroin addict. And now we have people that are on the streets in California. For example, this lady from this wonderful soft white underbelly, and the personality who's making this is quite amazing. Who's giving this thought process where now you have heroin addiction that's associated with prostitution and just the streets that is just an insane. The it's a terrific thought process about what pain looks like, and 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 I mean, just the way that she's depicted. I'm very thankful to the gentleman that makes the software white underbelly and gives us an idea of what extremes of pain this can do. And if you take a look, is that this is available to her. And I wish this $1 book or $2 book was available to this opioid addict and this heroin addict that and this heroin, this person who's been overtaken by these drugs and by prostitution and this difficulty. She could get out of it very quickly and very not with ease, but definitely very quickly, if she was able to just sit and focus even for 2 or 3 days, on her own self and say, look, even while I'm engaged in all the activities, I can keep on saying, go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go. So, I mean, I think it's such an important thing. And I believe so strongly um, that this research that we've done, we conducted this at Henry Ford Hospital, and that's where we started, and we're bringing it out to the masses. It's so important to read this book. It's just absolutely important to read this book. And if you know people that cannot read, it's such an easy, simple read that it can really bring a person to the next level of their life. Hopefully, somebody will hear this video for these patients and be able to bring them to some semblance of living a normal life for their life path so that they don't have to repeat, suffering.